to do it on Maui in the ocean.
Yes.
Oh, that's a wonderful way. And then you do it here on Kauai now?
Yes.
And you've been practicing for
6 years.
6 years. Wow. So I remember going to Lidgate to one of your clinics. You had a free clinic offering AquaCranial to people.
We've been doing monthly clinics these past 6 years. I met David Dinner on Maui, and we had we were sort of firing each other's passion to carry on something that Rebecca had offered here when she lived here. And she still has family on the island. So her clinics are now on Maui, and we said, okay, well, we can do this. And we brought back a lot of wetsuits and began offering monthly clinics at Lidgate. And now we've tried different beaches to find ones where the weather was more suitable for relaxing in the water, especially for the young ones. And we're mainly offering our work now at Anahola Beach Park.
Great. So now tell us what it is that you do with AquaCranial, and what is a client going to expect who comes to you?
Ultimate in support. And it's fluid support at that. It's a surprisingly inward experience, because once you lay back and float, your ears are underwater, so the world kind of goes away. Relaxing, eyes closed, gravity's gone, even electromagnetic radiation is being shielded. And people go quite into themselves. A common experience is deep relaxation.
Just floating in the water anyway, so when you have someone supporting you, it's definitely going to be much deeper.
Yes, you don't even have to think about, am I floating up to the shore now, or where are those rocks?
And are you using specific techniques when you work with someone?
Yes. Rebecca Goff was inspired from the cetacean kingdom. They showed her where to put her hands on the children she was working with at the time. And she would just trust it and find that wondrous things were happening. Medical diagnoses that aren't supposed to change were shifting and function improving. So these are the hand positions she taught us. And subsequently, she was sharing what she does with John Upledger, and he confirmed that many of them were identical to the work he was doing. She found that magical and had more confidence to share it.
So, was she originally doing cranial sacral work also?
No. This came to her directly from visions with the cetaceans.
Oh, how fascinating.
She's an animal communicator as a natural gift, not something she talks about much, but it led her here.
So are there a series of holds that you do, or is it very intuitive?
There are very gentle touch positions, there is a basic guideline, and then intuition makes it individual. It includes placements over the central nervous system and addressing our arms and legs, and of course the head, all those wonderful bones that move in our head and help deeply connect us throughout. And the water allows the introduction of more fluid movement as well as simply hand placements. It's a dance, a sacred baptism. Thank you, ocean.
So if I was going to go, let's say I had some issue going on, perhaps some lower back pain or leg pain, which seems to happen to me occasionally, lower back pain, what would you do? How would you assist me?
I enjoy beginning with hearing your intention. Gives us both a sense of how much depth you've come to understand what your body is saying to you about this. And then we'll work with those levels. I like to do a prayer as we stand in the water, have you speak them out loud, offer thanks for being in that place, and then we get wet. And that's a sort of surrender moment. Okay, I'm all yours, ocean. I give you a pillow that goes under your neck. Air fills so that breathing is assured, and my hands have freedom to do other things.
Okay, I was wondering, how did you do all these techniques and still hold the head up? So.
Oh, and you remind me that in most weather, I give you a wetsuit because it's easier to retain your body temperature. A wetsuit takes in just a little bit of water, which warms up to your temperature and makes it easy to be in our ocean for about half an hour. You're floating.
Oh, that's great. So you're also doing it in a place that's totally calm? I know I've seen people getting work on at a Nini.
generally that supports the session. It allows the small waves to create the fluid movement in the body. Sometimes I've had someone say, I really want a session in very deep water, or I really want it in the surf break. Can you do a session in the surf break? I had an assistant come with me for that one, but yes. And there's a reason for these things.
Yes.
I always trust that. If they say, I want it at sunset, or it needs to be on this part of the island, we'll work on doing that as long as it's a safe spot.
Now, if someone wanted to do it in their pool or their jacuzzi where they want it to be warm, would you still do it as long as it's water?
Yes, it can be done in any body of water, and if it's someone's choice, that's the most important factor. I do favor the ocean. Something about we're in nature, there are always animals who come, and I think the salinity offers an advantage. We're part of like a battery in terms of all we're releasing, totally moving with ease. I give the ocean a lot of credit.
Yeah, that would be great, because when you do release work with people, well, for me as a practitioner, I'm always telling people to go take a shower after this, or if you can go in the water and let the water just release what's come up for you. It's just so much more deeply relaxing.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. So now, have you ever worked with people that had serious injuries, like paraplegic or quadriplegic, and worked with them in the water?
I have not had that occasion yet, but I've dreamed about we could get one of those water entry wheelchairs and use the boat ramp at Anini Beach.
That would be fascinating, to assist someone without gravity who's had to deal with gravity on such a deep level.
Exactly. It would be easeful for myself and for their body to feel the movements.
So what would you say if you had someone that had, one of the clients that you've worked with, what were the results that they felt besides deep relaxation? What was the maybe one that's really, one you remember that they were very affected by? What would you say the results were?
I'm remembering a woman who talked about a level of integration of several different areas that were up in her life beyond her expectations. And she contacted me again. She didn't happen to live here, to share what changes had happened in her life, and then when she would come back to visit, she would build on that. So decisions would become clear. Those are the kind of levels that influence can come. Insight can also come. Though people can have an intention, and I like to hear that at the outset, we're giving ourselves over to the magic of healing.
Right.
And I remember one woman suddenly realizing the last time she'd been in the ocean had been a very frightening time when a loved one had almost drowned. And here she was coming for a water-based healing session. It was probably ideal that she hadn't thought of it ahead and went on to release that.
Yeah, that would be really great. So the physical release is going to stimulate a mental or emotional release.
It does all weave together. Yes.
That's great. So what kind of clients come to you? Like on a day-to-day level, what do you notice, a specific trend or not in your work?
I do. I notice a trend in people who are aware self-discovery is their highest priority. And they kind of see some issue that's been repeating or some discomfort that's been getting their attention more than once is the way in. Because they'll mention, I'd like this and this to change, and can I talk about my marriage too? Okay, yeah. Because all of those, they usually have connections.
Right.
So it generally has that common theme. They're looking for full expansion of who they are.
And being supported in the water is like being in your womb, in the mother's womb again.
Yes.
So it's so nurturing and so nourishing and relaxing.
Yes. Unintentionally, there have been those times when people have relived their birth because there is those two factors going on, the support and the water.
Oh, that's fascinating. So what is your favorite part of the work that you do? I mean, do you integrate these techniques and these awarenesses in other levels of your work as well?
I'm going to answer what I thought you were starting to ask, and then maybe I can remember. I just love when they've accepted the water and there's that moment where their head really goes back and the body kind of sighs. And I may look up and see the beauty that I'm in and just, this is my work. And realize that this came in such a kind of an organic way. I trust that it's meant to be, and that I am not negotiating the territory. I'm a guide and support, and really, their wise inner healer is letting happen what needs to happen. It's so relaxing for me, and I just smile a lot. That's what I love the most. And I found I started bursting out in song. And I've loved that so much that I tone and sing and chant through all the sessions now.